Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, just Daf It. Daf Yomi Share, we're learning Kesubos, Daf Mem Zayin, number 47. I'm going to start talking today more about not only the rights of the father and his daughter, but the husband and his wife, and certain rights that the wife, in return, gets from the husband. Um, some of these are included in the actual document of the Kesubo, so we're going to learn about them. Essential chiyuvim that a husband is chayiv to his wife, are they midarabban or midaraisa? We'll discuss that more in the Gemara, and of course more in detail in Iyanu with Ben Sion coming your way in the next segment. Let's start. Last words of Memvam and Beis Zakai Mitziyasa. This is going on the father. The father is entitled to whatever lost objects his daughter finds as a katana or a nara. She's a Bulgarian, so she would get it. The Gemara top of Mem Zayin it says Mishum Eva. So he shouldn't feel bad, the father. He shouldn't have hard feelings towards his daughter. Because technically, the father, we're going to learn a couple of dapim, doesn't have to feed his daughter. He doesn't have to feed his daughter. He's entitled to her wages, but he doesn't have to feed her. So in order to encourage the father to feed his daughter, we give her mitzvah, so she shouldn't feel bad. He is sustaining his daughter. He's giving her food, and doesn't get the rights to certain things that she finds. How do you know that the father is entitled to the wages that she earns? How do you know that whatever earnings that his daughter earns belongs to the father? When a man sells his daughter as a maidservant, right, compares his daughter, selling his daughter, the relationship to him and his daughter, to his sale of her as a maidservant. Just like a maidservant, whatever she earns belongs to her master. So to a daughter, whatever she earns belongs to her father. Let's say it's only talking about a daughter who's a katana, the matzah zabin-law. He can sell her. He can marry her off. Or he can actually sell her as a maidservant. Once she becomes a nara, he no longer has the ability to sell her as a maidservant. Maybe her wages should belong to her. The Gemara says, it makes sense that it should belong to her father. If you think is not to her father, So the Gemara says, must be that her father belongs to her father. The Torah. Hello? So the Gemara says, the right the father has, right? The father is entitled to marry her off. How is he able to do that? How come might say that if she owns that as a nara, and the father has a right as a nara to marry her off, right? How is he entitled to stop her from earning wages, to not work? Ravachai says it's not really a proof. Maybe he has the right to marry her off, and if she no longer can work during that time, he has to pay her wages, right? Inami the Masrala Bilelia. Alternatively, he has the right to give her over at night. Generally, people don't work during the night, so that the Torah gave him the right to marry her off at night. Inami the Masrala b'Shabbos Yom Tovim. Alternatively, he can marry her off on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Shabbos and Yom Tov, she's not allowed to work. Rishonim asked the question about Shabbos and Yom Tov. You're also not allowed to get married. On Yom Tov, it's Israel Raisha to get married. There's different explanations. The famous answer is that we're talking about Tosefes Shabbos instead of Tosefes Yom Tov. We're not allowed to do malacha, yet he would still be allowed to marry her off at that time. It's not under the rubric of marrying her off on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Inami Demasa Ella Katana, So the Gemara hasn't proven it yet. No, the pasuk when it says that he gets the Maisi Adayim, that must be talking about a Nara. Nara doesn't need a pasuk. Lo shricha kra ashta zvunim is abinla. He can sell her as an Ama Ivriya, Maisi Adami boy. The fact that he can sell her off as an Ama Ivriya shows that he's entitled to whatever wages she earns, even if he doesn't sell her. El Kisref Krol Nara. The pasuk must be talking about a Nara. There, Chiyim Korbisha Isha Bidol La'ama, he gets the Maisi Adayim, which is the Raisa, apparently. But first, the Reha, how do you know he's entitled to made for her Nadarim to annul her vows? Minol Dechsiv Minureh Beis Havia. There's an extra pasuk by Hafaras Nadarim, Minureh Beis Havia. While she's a Nara, she's considered in the house of her father in terms of Hafaras Nadarim. Makabal's Gita. How do you know when he accepts her get, she's Migureshes? Minol Dechsiv Yatzav Haisa Iska Shisia Lavaya. When it talks about getting married, right? V'yatzav Haisa, right? She gets divorced from one and he marries somebody else. So they're compared. There's a hekesh in the pasuk. They're linked together in the pasuk. So whatever he has the rights to marry her off kedushin, so therefore he gets the right for girish. And also, he is not entitled to eat fruits in her life. He's not entitled. She somehow had property that she inherited outside of the boundaries of her father. Let's say the parents were divorced and she had a stepfather, and a stepfather gave her a present that her father shouldn't have her shusbo. She gets a field, so the father he doesn't get to eat the peiros. He says he doesn't. He is entitled to the fruits. Right, there was takana. We'll see that it's the rabbanon. The rabbanon allowed the man to snack or to eat from the fruits of the field of his wife while they're married. If he's not entitled to this, he's not going to ransom his wife if she got captured. He's a father. He loves his daughter. He's going to ransom her whether he gets the fruits or not. No, even a father, a cruel father, he's not going to ransom his daughter. If he didn't get the peiros, says no, that she is entitled. She should take her funds that she gets from those peiros that grow in her fields, and she should redeem herself. She should ransom herself. Now that the father gets it, so he'll be in charge of ransoming her. And he says, yes, I love a baal shu ochal peiros. Now we're going to learn that when you write the Kesuba, not only is the man entitling himself, he's entitling his wife to certain rights. He's giving his wife certain rights. We'll see coming dapim, zonos, to get fed, to get clothed, to have conjugal relations. Onasa, we'll talk about what onasa is soon. She has certain rights. So part of the Kesuba is that the father, a dowry that the father-in-law will give to his son-in-law. There's two types. There's nichsei malug and nichsei son barzal. It depends how you write it in the Kesuba. Nichsei malug belong principally to the woman. He gets to eat the peiros. Like we saw, the husband gets to eat the peiros. And there's nichsei son barzal, where basically he brings in a gold watch. You bring in, nice furniture, some nice appliances, right? So the husband gets the rights over it. If it appreciates in value, it's his appreciation. If the values, he has to pay the value. And ultimately, when they get divorced or he dies, he has to return that to the wife, whatever the value was when they got married. So let's say the father, in part of the dowry, he gave her some fruits or clothing or kalim, nice watch for the man, or kalim, nice appliances. Mesa. If she dies, she died before they got married, the husband is not entitled to these things. Even in Eristin, he is entitled. Say this machlokis on account of Nasan is the same machlokis as the Rabbanan and Rabbi Letzah ben Azariah. This Nan, a Mishnah, the Shaman is Garsha, Beimin is Suamin in Eristin. Go Besakol. We'll see a Mishnah coming up a little later in the Masechta. If she gets divorced or he dies between the Eristin and the Nisuin, right? She collects everything, not only the Kesuba, but also the Tosefes Kesuba, right? Tosefes Kesuba has more money than the Mana Masai that he wants to give her just because he likes her. Elazar ben Azariah, Omer bin Nisuin, go Besakol, ben Eristin, Psula go Masai, Mana Mana. Elazar ben Azariah says no. You're only entitled to the Sefes Ksuba if you actually got married. But if you didn't get married, all you get is the regular Ksuba, Mano Masayim, the basic Ksuba. Shalo, the top of Mem Zayin Beis, Shalo El Menasta Konsa. The whole reason he gave her Tosefes Ksuba, extra money, he likes her, he wants to marry her. When he marries her, then she's entitled to it. Lamada Amar Lo Zacha, the one who says, right, he's not entitled after the Erison, the dowry he doesn't get. Zacha Krelez Ben Azariah. That's when Azariah you need to and Mandamar Zacha Karabanan. The one who says he's Zocha. But he does get the Peiros Ksus and Kalim. He gets the dowry, even Neiris, and hold the Karabanan. The Gemara rejects it. Lo, the Chuli Alma Krelez Ben Azariah. Everyone holds the Krelez Ben Azariah. Erison is not good enough to entitle you to Sefes Ksuba. Mandamar Lo Zacha Krelez Ben Azariah. The one who says that the husband isn't Docha. The opposite. The husband's not Zocha in the dowry from an Erison. Holds the Krelez Ben Azariah. Mandamar Zacha. I'd count the Kamer Krelez Ben Azariah. Elamidide Lidida. When he's giving her something, so he's only adding to the Kesubos because she's dear to him, he wants to marry her. Right, what the father-in-law is promising the son-in-law, the reason he gives these presents, right, these appliances, this furniture, a nice gift basket, a nice watch, the reason he's giving these things is because he's giving it on the fact that they're having familial ties now, that they're related. That already happens in an Erison. Once the Erison happens, already Kinyan and Kaspo, we'll talk more about this. The wife, in a certain extent, belongs to him, or he has a schus in what the wife does. So, since he has certain rights over his wife, so therefore, there was a chasnos, there was, a relationship. They put it on only simchas, whatever, the news spot, simcha spot, I don't know, whatever they put out the news over there. The father-in-law's thrilled, he got the guy, the best guy from Punovich, the best guy from the Mir, the best guy from Tifrach, everyone's talking about it in shul. Wow, how'd you get a guy from Tifrach? So you listen, I put up 2 million shekel for the apartment. No, but how did you get a guy from Tifrach? Well, besides the 2 million shekel that I had to put up, I also had to guarantee that I would support them for 75 years. But how did you get the guy from Tifrach? Oh, I also added a gold Rolex watch. Oh, okay. Now we understand the guy from Tifrach. He's got the 2 million shekel apartment in Schneller. he's got the 75 years of support. And steak, every Shabbos and once during the week also, of course. And also a gold Rolex watch. And he's committed either to learning a kol or to going to Klei Kodesh. And if he has to go into business, then he forfeits all his rights. So, basically, it's an incentive for him to stay and learning. So, joking around. Some of these stuff it's a little bit of a exaggeration, but part of what I'm saying is true. So anyway, so that's the father-in-law. He feels really great when he got to the chesed from Tifrach. When he's become a chassan after the engagement. So therefore, he's willing to give his dowry. He's willing to commit to the dowry even from an engagement. Chayav b'zonoseh, the husband is chayav to feed his wife. The reason they entitle the wife to be fed from the husband is because he gets the earnings of his wife. The kurasa tachas kesubos, because if she were to die first, he inherits her ksuba, and not just the man doesn't have to pay, but he also inherits, right, nichsei mulug nichsei barzel. Lefichach baal ochal peiros. So because he and they wanted, because he gets the ksuba, so therefore they instituted that he has to bury her also. If he wants to get the ksuba, he has to be in charge. If she dies, he has to pay for her funeral. Ochel peiros, fichach bal ochel peiros. The Brisa concludes, therefore the husband eats the peiros. The Gemara immediately asks, peiros man dechar shmayu. Seems like out of place. Why are we mentioning peiros? Chasur mesra v'achiyasan. This Brisa is missing parts of it. This is what it means to say, tiknu b'zonoseh tachas ma'aseh yadeh. They established the mezonos feeding her because he zochen or ma'aseh yadayim. Brakona tachas peiros, because he's eating the peiros, right? They gave him the peiros in order that he should ransom her. Kurasa tachas ksuvasa, and they gave him the ksuba in order that he should be responsible to bury her. Lefichach bal ochel peiros. Therefore, the bal ochel peiros. The Gemara again asks, "Ma lefichach? What does that have to do with anything?" Well, the same. Ameichal lo nechlinu. because you would have we should let him not eat the fruit. Let's just leave off whatever the fruits are worth. We'll put it in a separate fund. The imke mimna v'lo parik, right? Because sometimes, right, they got married and she gets captured within a day or two, and he barely ate any fruits. So therefore, it's better maybe that we should leave the payros on the side, and that will be the funds of the redeemer. He shouldn't be right to eat the payros or redeemer from her own money. This is better to exchange the two. Sometimes it's not going to be enough in the fund. So therefore, if we ensure this agreement from the outset that he has to ransom her no matter when it happens, therefore she'll always get ransomed. Why are we saying that mezonos tachas ma'aseh and kvurasa and payros tachas perkona, right? Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe we should get mezonos because of her redeeming her, and he should get her ma'aseh adayim because of giving her mezonos. He should get her her payros because of giving mezonos. I'm right. Mezonos and ma'aseh adayim, earning wages and feeding her, are very common. They happen all the time. However, being ransomed and eating fruit, so a lot of times women don't have her own property, she's going to have fruit. I'm a Rava. So now, until now, we've been assuming mezonos and ma'aseh adayim d'Rabbanan. Now the Gemara introduces a new view. I'm a Rava. Hi Tana Sarah mezonos d'Oraisa. The following Tana holds mezonos is not d'Rabbanan, it's midaraisa. It's from the Torah. The sign is sheira. Right? This is a pasuk by Alma Ivriya. Right? If a man sells his daughter to be an Alma Ivriya, and it says the master he can marry the girl, or he can give it to his son to marry. And it says sheira ksusa v'nasa lo yigra. Whatever he does with her, he has to make sure she's entitled to sheira ksusa v'nasa. This pasuk is not talking about a regular marriage. It's talking about Alma Ivriya Yehud, the Gemara talks about Kedushin, where he's marrying off either to him or to his son. But we learned from this halachas is about a regular marriage. So sheira ksusa v'nasa, what does that mean? It's kind of sheira elu mezonos. Sheira means the food he has to feed her. The pasuk in Micha talks about achila, and talks about where share is used by the word achila, eating. Ksusa kamashmo, providing clothes is like what it sounds like. He has to provide her clothes. Onasa zu ona hamura b'Torah. Onasa, which really means to afflict her. Ona. This is what the ona in the Torah, right? A man. We always think about what is a man. Why does a man want to get married? Because it's mitzvah ona. It's mitzvah ona. He has to do it whether he likes it or not. Amura b'Torah has to have sex with her. We learn from Lavan. He says, you shouldn't abuse my daughters, right? What is it talking about? It's talking about presumably not having sex with them. Or having sex with them in a way that's painful to them. So it's interesting. You learn it from Tanas Benosa. It's about afflicting them. Talk about presumably not having sex. And we're learning that Onasa means to have relations with them. Lezer Omer, Sheira zu Ona. Lezer has a different opinion. Sheira is referring to Ona. It's have the Bia being together. Omer, Ishi shall call Sher B'Saro. And it talks about Arayas, to talk those Rula Galas Erva. Sher B'Saro is considered the flesh, right? When do you contact with the flesh? When you're together. Ksusa Kamashma. Ksusa, everyone agrees, means clothing. Onasa Elom Zonos. Onasa, Lezer says that's a reference to the food. Again, Hashem afflicted you and he caused you hunger. So it's interesting, we're learning Onasa, you have to give her food from the fact that Hashem didn't give food. Right? It's interesting. We'll have to discuss this more in Ian with Ben Sion. Another one is when Yaakov Omer, at the top of Memched Ben Aleph, Sheira Ksusa. You learn something else from these pasuk. Sheira Ksusa. It links the word Sheira and Ksusa together. Fum Sheira ten Ksusa. According to her body or her skin, give the appropriate clothing. I don't know what this means. You shouldn't give children's clothing to an old lady or to an older woman. I think it means, adult women. One's a little older, one's younger. You have to give her something that's at least normal to wear. Old ladies wear different clothes than young girls, than young women, right? Young women more attractive clothes. Old women more classy clothes. Ksusa v'onasa, why is that linked in the pasuk? Lefum onasa tein ksusa shleitein chadash mosa chama v'lashachakim mosa geshamim. Depending on the season, you have to give her clothes. So therefore, you have to give her new clothes in the winter because those are warmer. You give her secondhand clothes, worn-out clothes during the summer because you don't need the warmth of new clothes. seemingly, I mean, this is all you have to do. You give her secondhand clothes during the summer. I mean, what are we talking about over here? Seems kind of b'di'evid over here. This is all you have to give her, right? I think Gemara says make sure you give her clothes that are appropriate for her, not for an old lady. I mean, what's the Gemara saying over here? It seems to be all three opinions are d'oraisa. Is there an opinion? Do we find anywhere there's an opinion that mizonos is derabanan? We'll talk more about that in Enoch Ben Sion. Coming your way next.